Dear student friend follower, today we'll discuss about Roman and Greek theater. We're going to learn about Geoffrey Chaucer. We are going to learn life of Geoffrey Chaucer. We are going to learn about Canterbury Tale. So let's discuss about theater. Theater is basically a place where live performance occur. So there are certain rules, norms, regulation in a way to conduct this play. So it's not an easy job. So for that, keeping this view in their mind, Roman Greeks, they decided certain roles, people they are going to conduct these plays over there. So what happens? First of all, these plays were being played for the commemoration, for honoring and tributing to Dionysus, god Dionysus. God Dionysus, that was a god of wine and fertility, and mostly female. They were very, related. Female. They are very, superficial kind of believe. Female. They believe on supernatural thing, and still you can see in villages what female do. If something wrong happens, they say that there is some supernatural element. There are some magic. People are playing magic with them. If they find needles with the dolls, they find some female, they are doing magic on me. If they find something in the corner of some place they find some sacred, sacred, and some information related to some scriptures, they started believing some people are doing magic on us. Oh, so they even abusing other, they are talking, they're going to some babas, and these babas, they are misusing them. And I heard one of the story. There was one of old man. He was well known Baba, especially in our country. Rifna, you must know, in our country there is some supernatural element kind of belief that is plenty of people, they have believe on these people. They say that there are some holy men and they can save us from supernatural element. So the female people, they are going to some holy men's, and what they're doing, they are even writing on their body. They are writing on their body. Oh, what kind of fool people they are. So how our Holy Quran, how our scripture allow one male to see the naked body of another female? So how does it occur? These are concocted beliefs. So this is the thing, same way that was ancient era, that was ancient time. People, female, they had a belief that God Dionysus can help us, and it is a god of the wine and fertility. Female go there and he satiate his lust, and after that, what happens? He is honored and tributed and given some respect and given sacrifications, and female go, they sacrifice their gods, buffalo, cows, animals, for sake of this Dionysus god. So due to this religious ritual, people started playing and tributing this Dionysus god. So this concept, especially god Dionysus, this has given them play. And there was a person, very first time, the person I have named you, that the same person, he played very first time, he played the role of characters and play. So let's start. Here are some places, here are some, you can say, some places. These are used especially in the Greek theaters. So first of all, you must remember what is chorus. What is chorus? Chorus is a group of the people, and these group of the people, they are 12 to 15. So these are the group of the people. Only 2 to 3 people, they are actor, and these actors, they are playing the role of actor and actress. So these are playing the role of actors and actress. So both role they are playing. Yes, yes. Kindly, first of all, arrange a separate place. So this is the chorus. Chorus is a group of the 12 to 15 peoples, and then top of the skinny, there is a place which is called orchestra. So in theater, there is a place which is known as orchestra. Orchestra is a place chorus appears and introduce story. So for example, if this is the theater, this is overall theater. So there is a orchestra. So orchestra is a place where group of the chorus come and they started introducing what gonna happen. What is gonna happen? So like if you have studied about, I think Fatma, you have studied about Oedipus Rex. When
Yes, sir.
Oedipus Rex starts, you see that there are a group of the chorus, they come and they started introducing what gonna happen. So same way,
Yes.
the place which is called orchestra is a place where group of the chorus, they are 16 to 15 to 16 or sometime 18, 17, and sometime even 15. So round about 15 people, they come in a group. So they need a place to enter. So they come in a group and they started introducing what is gonna happen. So this place is known as orchestra. And then there is another place which is known as altar. Center of orchestra. This is a place in the theater which is known as our altar. Altar, you can see that is a place where these people sometime sit, talk, and discuss with each other. This is a place center of the orchestra. And then there is a screening. Screening is a place where actor appear for the performance. It means if there is a place for the orchestra where chorus come, and then there is another place where group of they are two to three in number, they appear as well. They are going to perform characters. So where character appear, it is another place. This place is known as screening. Please note it down, skinny, S-K-E-N-E, skinny. So skinny is a place where character are going to appear. They are two to three in number. So they appear, they perform their activity, and after that they change their role. Sometimes they have a mask, they play the role of the female. Then they change the mask, they take the place of another character. Then they rechange the mask, then they started appearing another one. So whenever they need help of the supernatural element, then God appear from the sky. So there is another place which is known as a top of the skinny. This is the appearance of the God. This is the place where supernatural element appear. Supernatural, what are the supernatural element? Angels, fairies, queens, fairy queens, or some like a goddesses. They appear from the sky. So this is the place at the top of the skinny. Here God appear. So supernatural element appear, and this supernatural element comes, it descend from the sky, and it descend down and it helps the characters. So skinny is a place where character enter, and then top of the skinny is a place where supernatural element are coming down, and these supernatural element are going to help character, chorus, and something like that. Even there is another assistant which is known group of the people as a chorus. They are also over there to help the characters. So this way, dramas, ancient Greek dramas were conducted. If Rifna, if they people ask you write the character sketch of the theater, Greek theater, I can you explain easily what is chorus, what is orchestra, what is altar, center of orchestra, what is skinny, what is the top of the skinny, what is paradoi, what is the right side of paradise, what is the left side of paradise. Can you explain this now? What is chorus, what is orchestra,
Actually, sir.
what is skinny, what is the top of the skinny, what is paradoi? Paradoi is the place where chorus enter. These are the two doors. Can you explain? Fatma and Rifna, you both, I want that you should explain now yourself so you may have better idea. One by one. This one, this one, this one, and paradoi. First of all, Rifna will explain. Rifna, would you explain this?
Okay, sir. Chorus is a very important feature in a play where it is of 12 to 15 characters. Assist the main characters, usually of 2 or 3 people. So in a stage, the chorus usually enter the stage through a paradoi. It has 2 different entrance as well, which is known as strophe and antistrophe. Right and left follow like accordingly. And skinny is the place where the characters enter the stage, and top of skinny is where the gods, goddesses, and other supernatural creatures enter the play.
Very good.
uh, yes, sir.
And the orchestra is a place where chorus entering, in fact, where a place where
Choruses.
chorus appears and introduce story. Very first time when they introduce story, they enter through orchestra. So orchestra is a special place that is specially designed for the chorus. They come and they introduce, and after that there is another stage where character are going to appear. First, there is an introduction by the chorus, and after that, there are some characters, and after that, there is the appearance of the goddesses, and that's how story is being conducted through various elements. So let's move forward. I hope you got the point. If somebody asks you question, you can write it down in your own word. This is what I want: creativity. I don't want that you just copy paste. I want that you should write your own word. I want creative student, productive student, not lazy, not mere copy.
Sir, I
Exactly.
want to ask something.
Yes.
When main person of the chorus in front of the people and guide or judge or anything about the socializer or environment, then will he speak?
Then
He speaks loudly or not?
definitely they speak loudly, and they introduce what is going to happen. Sometimes they sing songs, sometimes they say some quotations, sometimes they speak, give some reference about the play, what is going to happen, talk about, if you have studied about Dr. Faustus. So when Dr. Faustus started, there are some chorus. There is a chorus which is going to tell that I am not going to tell you some ancient story. I'm not going to tell you about other story. I'm only going to tell you about the story of the man, downfall of the man scholar. I'm not going to tell you the story of the king. I'm not going to tell you the story of the prince. I am going to tell you the downfall of the scholar. So this is what the introduction by the chorus. Chorus always introduce what kind of play is going to be conducted, what kind of play is going to be introduced. So this is the work of the chorus, to guide, to assist chorus, character, as well as audience. So these chorus, or you can say group of the people, they interact with the audience as well as with the characters. They also work sometime as a character. So talk about the Oedipus Rex. In Oedipus Rex, when all people, they moved away from Oedipus Rex. No, Oedipus Rex is alone, and he's talking to the chorus, Parados, Koragos. He's talking to the Koragas. Koragas is a leader of the group of the people. If there are 12 or 16 or 15 people, the leader of all the people is known as Koragas. Rifna, note it down. Leader of all the people is known as Koragas. Oedipus is talking to the Koragas that I committed sin. I have slept with my mother and produced, 4 children as well. I have slept with my mother. I am at most, I am at most vile people on the earth, and I am very bad person. All the evils of the words can be named Oedipus. So why are you standing, my friend, when all people have left me? Why are you standing with me? He's talking to the Koragas. So Koragas is still standing and being played as a character. He's playing the role of the character and talking and interacting and socializing and interacting with the Oedipus. So this means sometime these group of the people, they are playing the role of the character as well. Sometime assisting, sometime counseling, sometime helping, sometime even inviting and invoking God, sometime introducing quotations, sometime telling what is going to happen, sometime telling that these are very great peoples. These are the son of the Labdacus. This is the house of the Labdacus. Sometimes they're introducing that the God says they have, there is a male and the fairy. They both have mate and they have produced this wonderful children. So sometimes they are introducing about the characters, how this character was introduced and what he did, even telling about the riddles of the Oedipus, how he solved the riddle of the Sphinx. So like that, we'll see in Oedipus Rex, inshallah. Line to line text we'll see in future.
Sir, I have a question too, sir.
Yes, yes, exactly.
So orchestra is the place where they do the synopsis of the play. So the narrator who is from the chorus
Yeah.
comments like narrate the story like a pre-story, like a background tale, something like that. Am I right, sir?
Yes, exactly. Is a place,
Yeah.
orchestra is a place where chorus appear and introduce story. So orchestra
Okay.
is a place where chorus are going to tell you story. In fact, you need guidance. If there is no guidance, who can you know about character? So definitely there will be some people, they play the role of the guide, they play the role of the assistants, they are assisting the audience as well as character. So these are very respected people, they are old people, respected people, and they conduct this play. All the people, they respect them because they are aged people. They are group, and they are 14 to 16 to 14 and sometime 18 in numbers, and they are controlling all the stage. I hope you got the point, and I move forward.
Yes, sir.
Ancient Greek is a drama
Yes, I
and the theater. You can see like this theater, people used to come. That time, Rifna, that time people used to do their catharsis and purgations. Catharsis mean when you share your feeling with somebody, you feel light. Same way, whenever you depress, you can go to mobile, you can go to TV, you can go to internet, you can go to LCD, you can go to computer, you can go to website, you can go to various places and apps, and something like these medias are available, because these are the technologies of the modern era. But talk about the ancient Greek, they hadn't like these opportunities. So what they did, they are preparing like that stage. They are preparing like that theaters where thousands of 14,000, 16,000, 8,000, sometimes 15,000, 16 to even 20,000. So like these people, they all come together. No, whatever follies, whatever bad government is doing, or some people, they are creating some bad stories and they are doing something wrong. They pick up this story and same story they play on the stage. I hope you got the point. So this way they create pity and fear, they create tragedies. So whatever they write, they write in the form of trilogy. And know what is trilogy? Trilogy mean they whatever play they bring in trilogy form. One, one, two, three, and there was some star play. Okay. So whatever play they come in the form of trilogy. Aeschylus, he wrote in the form of trilogy. And talk about the Euripides, he writes in the play in the form of trilogy. Talk about the Euripides, talk about the Sophocles, talk about the Aeschylus. These were the great tragedians that time. In ancient Greek time, there were three main tragedy writers, and the name of these the name of these tragedians were, I can just name you the very first, at the top of this ancient Greek dramatist was Aeschylus. He was aged one. He was a teacher of the Euripides and Sophocles. Please write his name, Aeschylus. I will make you write the plays they have written. Please write it down. So how many plays they have written? Only seven. I think seven are survive only, not more than seven. So whatever they have written, only seven plays are survived. So they have prepared their work, and only Some plays are only survived, not all. So please write very
Is
first
that
time.
because, sir, is that because it's verbally transformed, transmitted?
Yes.
The reason only few to survive is because those stories were uh, transmitted to the other generations through verbally. Is that what's it? Or like,
Please write the name of the play first of all, then I will explain you each and everything. First of all, there was three great tragedians. The name of the first one was Aeschylus. 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 Aeschylus was the senior one. He writes around about 90 plays. How many? 90 plays. So since they are very old and ancient, that time there was not printing press. Only people, they orally, they're telling their work and whatever they're writing on the sleeves and something like that, with the feathers and like these things they were writing. So only 7 plays are survived. Out of 90, only 7 are survived. Please write it down. He has written round about 90 plays. Aeschylus, he's also in your course. Aeschylus has written 90 plays, and out of 90, there are 7 survived. And then after that, there comes Sophocles. What is the name of the other tragedy writers? Sophocles. 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 Sophocles has written round about 120 plays, and only 7 survived. Once again, 7 are survived. So now talk about the Euripides. Euripides is a younger one. He is younger than Sophocles, and he also learned from Sophocles and Aeschylus because he's a junior one. So he has written round about, uh, you know, Euripides. He has written about 92 plays. Please write it. Euripides, Euripides. Euripides has written 92 plays, and 19 are survived. Out of 92, only 19 are survived. So there are many plays they have written. And whatever they have written, they have written in the form of trilogy. For example, if there is a one play, there will be 2 other plays attached with this play in the form of trilogy. Trilogy means three parts. So whatever play they bring, they bring in the form of trilogy. Hope you got the point. Fatma, you are getting my point, I think. And Rifna, you are also getting, because it's not very difficult.
Yes, sir.
So whatever they are writing in the trilogy. Trilogy means three parts. And I want to give you example from Eugene O'Neill. If you have studied Eugene O'Neill play, who has studied Eugene O'Neill play? Morning Become Electra by Eugene O'Neill. He has followed Aeschylus stories, Agamemnon. So if you study Eugene O'Neill play, name Eugene O'Neill. So Eugene O'Neill play name is Morning Become Electra. It is written in a trilogy form. Morning becomes Electra. He has taken concept from Sigmund Freud's Oedipus complex and Electra complex. This complex has been taken from Sigmund Freud's psychoanalysis theory. So let's discuss about Morning Become Electra, which is imitation of Aeschylus play Agamemnon. So how he writes? First he write Homecoming. So Ezra Menon has gone for 10-year war, and he is coming back after 10 years. So when he comes back, his his wife, she's attached with his nephew. She's attached with the nephew. She's having illegitimate relation, and many times they were caught red-handed by Lavinia while doing sexual activities. So what happens? Here is a story like Agamemnon's. Agamemnon also went for 10-year war. So when he comes back, his own wife, she had a relation with his cousin, illegitimate relation, and along with the illegitimate relation, she killed. So Clytemnestra, she killed Agamemnon. So the same like characters we find in Morning Become Electra. So first part of the play in A Morning Become Electra is a homecoming. So people are coming after 10-year war. Then there is a haunted. Haunted mean to hunted. So when they haunt something, and then there is a haunted, H-A-U-N-T. H-A-U-N-T-E-D, haunted. So there are the three parts, 1, 2, 3. So like these, it is known as trilogy. When play is written in the form of trilogy, 3 parts, this is known as trilogy. The ancient Greek drama was a theatrical culture that flourished in ancient Greek from 700 BC. The city-state of the Athens, which became the significant cultural, political, and military powers during this period, was its centers, where it was institutionalized as a part of the festival called the Dionysia. Dionysius, which is honored the god Dionysius. So Dionysius was a god to honor him, to tribute him, to give some respect, and many sacrifications. Female, they sacrificed their goats, buffaloes, and sheep like that. And to tribute the Dionysus, even some drama were played. So it means ritual festival has given the Greek people this play. Hope you got the point. The classical Greek valued the power of the spoken words, and it was their main method of communication and storytelling. To Greek, was spoken word was a living thing infinitely, therefore to dead symbols of the written language. So what they had value, they give value to spoken word, oral word. They do not give value who you are writing and what you are writing on leaf and with feathers. They don't respect. They respect if you are orally telling story to them, because that was a culture of the storytelling. You are sitting on the barrow and you are traveling from this place to that place, and you are sitting on bull carts. On bull carts, you are traveling along with your hubble bubbles like this, and you are traveling somewhere else and you are telling oral story. So same way, people are respected who can narrate stories. That was the age of the storytelling. You are just sitting on the bull carts along with group of the people. They are telling their story, go to one station, then other station, then going somewhere else. So people were not having like these cars. They were sitting in a group. They are sitting on bull carts. They are sitting on barrows and just moving here and there on donkeys, on like these sheep and herds, cattle, animals. They are moving, and along with moving, they are telling their story. So they value if you know something orally, not written form. According to Socrates, if you write something, value will be lost. Only oral form is respected. So Greek tragedy, as we know, it was created in Athens around the time of the 532 BC. So these are the places where people used to sit and conduct their stories like that. The theaters of the Dionysius, Athens. So these are the places. Still, if you visit Athens, Greece, is my wish. If I am ever given a chance to visit Athens, Greece, I will go there where Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, they used to sit, they talk, and they'll teach. They guide people. They teach philosophy, psychology, and other subject, rhetoric, like metaphysics. So I want to visit their places, how they sit, how they teach, and what was a place before 500 BC. So the play had a chorus. The same thing I have taught you. I think we don't need to discuss further. Just I will read once. So the play had a chorus from 15 to 12 people who performed the plays in the verse accompanied by the music beginning the mornings and lasting until the evenings. So this is what already I explained, nothing else. So statues of the Greek actors. This is the statue of the Greek actor. If you go to Athens, Greece, you can still find like these statues over there. The half mask over the eyes and the nose identify the figures as actors, and he wears a man's conical caps, but female's garment following the Greek customs of the men playing the role of the woman. So women are not allowed to enter on the stage. So what happens? No, the role of the male have to prepare the role of the female as well. So female were not allowed to take part. It was Sophocles, he introduced, very first time he introduced a female Jocasta. So Jocasta was a pure woman. So very first time it was introduced by the Sophocles. Sophocles in Oedipus Rex, he introduced the role of the Jocasta. We'll study in Oedipus Rex, inshallah. So these are the people, they used to sit and gather and they watch the play, what was being conducted like that. The theaters were originally built on a very large scale, accommodate the large number of the people stage and large number of the peoples in the audience, and 14,000. Mathematics played a large roles in the constructions of these theaters, and designs had to be able to create acoustic in them so that their actor voices could be heard throughout the theaters, including the very top of the seat. So people are sitting on the top. So they're sitting, they're shouting, they are screaming whenever they see something exciting. So something excites them, they started shouting, screaming that something is good going to be played. So they happy to enjoy. They have some catharsis. They satiate their feelings while watching whatever follies are being occurred in the country. That was being played over there, because the stories were taken from live people. That was taken from the country, like Athens, Greece, like other Spartan Greeks and other places. What are the main part of the Greek theater? I have already told you. No, I want that Rifna come forward and she should explain what is theater, what is orchestra, what is a paradoi, what is a sakini, part of the Greek play. Right in front of you, just explain one time and we will move forward.
Okay, sir. So in Greek theater, there are several parts in which the actors perform. So orchestra is the place where a narrator from the chorus come and present the synopsis of the play.
Yeah.
And scene is the place where the main characters, which is usually 2 or 3 actors, enter and perform. And chorus usually enter through paradoi. If they enter through right paradoi, we call them strophe,
Strophe.
and if it's left, we call antistrophe. And top of skinny is the place where supernatural creatures, supernatural elements like gods, goddesses, and creatures enter the play. Yeah, I think I have covered everything.
Yes, very, very nice. So Fatma, you and both, you have better idea about the Greek theater. So you have a pragmatic and practical idea. Wherever somebody asks you about Greek theater, you can even explain with headings. You will write about theater, you will write about orchestra, then altars, even paradoi 1, paradoi 2, sakini, top of sakini. So these are the part you can explain, because this is the template for the modern playwright. If you are a modern playwright, you still need some template. So it helps the modern playwright or play people, they conduct play. So it's very helpful. So these are the places of the Roman Greeks. It's very beautiful. I have studied about Athens, Greece. Athens, Greece consists of many islands. If you go there, there are 100+ islands. If you go there, you watch everywhere, you find little island and very beautiful place, Athens, Greece. You will enjoy if you go there. So like these haters, I'm just showing you. So these are the places. We have already studied all these things. Nothing, we don't need to waste our times. Tragedy. So these are the tragedy writers. I have already told you about tragedy. Tragedy deals with the big themes of the love, loss, pride, abuse, and powers of the fraught relation between men and gods. Typically, men protagonists of the tragedy commit some terrible crimes without realizing the foolish and arrogant he has been, and then he slowly realizes his errors. The world crumble around him. So first of all, person, he's a protagonist. He unconsciously, unknowingly, he commits sins, and gradually he knows his fault, and then everything trembling around him, and he says that I have committed wrong, I have committed something wrong. Sometime he's gouged his eyes and pricks his eye and started weeping that, oh, I have slept with my mother, I have done something wrong, and he's beating his breast and fighting with himself. He's just then he realized what happens. So then there is a peripety and agnosis, something like these thing happens in the play. So basically in Greek play, you can say that the main function of tragedy to arouse pity and fear, to fulfill the functions of catharsis. Main purpose of tragedy to rouse pity and fear. For example, know your science say, know your psychology say, know your neurology say, whenever you have some idea, some feelings in your heart, and you do not express with somebody, what happens? You are ill. You are psychological ill. You need purgation and catharsis with some good friends. Find some good friend and vomit your thought. Then you will be all okay. You will be light. You will be comfortable, because we are human. We are social animal. We are a social and rational animal according to the Aristotle. Aristotle said we need socialization, we need interaction, we need help, we have to talk. So for that, we need pity and fear. Once we have pity and fears, we automatically vomit our thought with somebody. We started weeping. If somebody died in front of you, he's a good man, and suddenly he commits some suicide, he commit some unconsciously error, and he had a tragic flaw, and due to this tragic flaw, unconsciously he did something wrong, and he suffered from king to, he traveled from king to beggar, and he is mad and traveling here and there. Then you will feel pity. Oh, what a great mind has been overthrown. Like in a Hamlet, in a Shakespeare play Hamlet, Ophelia said, oh, what a great mind has been overthrown. Hamlet was once a great mind, now has been overthrown. So from king to beggar. Talk about the king Lear, from king to beggar. So always tragedy provides you pity and fear, and through pity and fear, you fulfill the purgation or a function of catharsis and purgation. Because whenever there is a pity and fear, automatically you will weep, you will vomit your thoughts, you started weeping, and when you weep, uh, everything will be washed, you will be comforted, you will feel light. So that is why tragedies are written, because we human beings, we saw a lot of murder, tragedy, fight.